Hello, and welcome to episode 6 of the TechTeenth Podcast, where tech and Black excellence meet. Hey guys.
What up?
How y'all doing?
I'm good.
I see you in your Braves jersey.
Right. From Greensboro.
I was about to say, you noticed it, right? With the enthusiasm.
North Carolina raised me. Atlanta pays me. So
Facts.
Ooh, I like
Love
that.
that.
I like that. That's a good way. Everybody feeling good? How's this week been? How's everything going?
I'm like an 8 this week.
Okay.
Yeah.
A little lower.
9.5 last week. I'm an 8 this week.
8 is still pretty
8 is
good.
still good.
Yeah.
It's not too bad.
It's been a rough week, but it's cool. We got to
we can get there. We got some more days left in this week. So
Exactly.
Yeah,
Right. You're right.
we can get you there.
You're right.
We outside tonight.
Yeah, outside tonight, baby.
I will be inside.
Okay.
So today we're kind of talking a bit about tech through the generations, a bit of how tech has affected all of the generations, what we're seeing, how it's being received. So I think maybe the first great thing is to kind of refresh everybody on not only what the generations are, but what their first introduction to tech is, to give some good perspective.
Yeah.
Y'all that?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Okay. So first up, we have the boomers, who are actually 60 to 79.
Okay.
Their first introduction to tech was rotary phones. If you guys don't know what that is, look it up. Yes. And you have to let it go, let it wind itself back, and then do your next one.
Okay.
The TV.
Okay.
But not as we know it. It was very big, very bulky.
On the floor.
Okay.
Antennas on the floor. And then desktop computers, which I would say is not necessarily like in their younger formative years, but probably more
It was
as
a
like,
small little box, Apple, Macintosh.
Yeah.
and I would almost argue more of like probably a specific career that actually had you in front of computers.
You put the codes.
Right.
Yeah. Floppy disks.
Yeah.
For that.
Oh, yeah.
Some holes in it.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's how you loaded code into a computer, but that's outdated.
Wow.
That's the engineer right there, man.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Dots in the
No.
computer.
That's crazy.
Zeros and ones.
Yeah.
Binary.
So next we have Gen X, which is actually 60 to 45. That's not you.
That's how
not
old
me.
they are?
Yeah, that's not you. That's not you. Here's over there.
Between 60 and 40?
Yeah. 60 or 43 to 60. You're not Gen X. And so for them, it was dial-up internet was their first kind of introduction. Fax and
fax
floppy
machine.
disks.
Yeah.
Fax machines.
When last
So-
time you used a fax machine?
I ain't faxed anything.
Oh my God.
That's 30 years.
I was about to say.
Maybe 20.
No, I was about to say, actually, I had to do it in one of my jobs. So we would have to fax information like to different areas because everybody wasn't on the high tech curve at that time to be able to have things. So faxing documents was definitely a thing.
And floppy disk was a thing.
I haven't used floppy disk since elementary school.
I think the floppy disk only had like 1 megabyte of space or something. Like now we got a little USB stick.
Floppy to a hard disk,
Yeah.
because they still would mess up and
Yeah, I was gonna say floppy is so long ago for me. And then millennials, now you can drop your set. That's all of us here. So that's 29 to 45.
Okay.
And for us, it was actually texting, so the ability to text on a phone. MySpace.
Remember when we used to have the text when we had to hit the button?
T9.
T9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember sitting in class and remembering like, okay, I want to say what? So 1 tap on the 9. Then I need to go to H. Okay, that's 2 taps on this one.
2 was A.
Yeah, like everything, like being able to do it took so
Wow.
long. But it was also, I don't know.
Yeah.
It made your brain work.
It did.
MySpace and then iPhones, which I remember very vividly, MySpace. And
So we were the first generation for social media.
Social media.
With MySpace,
Black Planet.
That's all I can remember.
I mean, back in the day.
That was
it
the 2.
Yeah, that was
I was like,
pretty much it.
That's all that mattered. Yeah, that's all that mattered.
And it's crazy because it's like now people are getting like all these beauty secrets. People are worrying about bullying. And like my version of bullying was if I'm not in your top eight,
Oh, yo.
how dare you
16.
disrespect me?
Yeah.
Can't make it 32?
You could like code your own. Oh, that's when we first started coding.
Yeah.
They have to code it too.
Music on your page. Man, those were
Stylize, download your own little wallpaper, all sorts of stuff.
what a time to be alive.
I know, right? And even getting the first iPhone, I remember my dad, because he was in tech, he got me an iPhone, and I was the first to have one at my school, and everybody was like, "What is that?"
So it's funny. I had the first Sprint phone that allowed you to do video recording.
Oh, wow.
Oh man.
Lord.
I can find that.
I was gonna say, if anybody can find that phone,
footage.
Man.
I was also one of the. I had an iPhone. When I was the first in my high school that had a phone. I had a phone and 2 beepers.
You had a 3-way?
Yeah, I had 2 beepers. There was still beepers. That beeper didn't work. I was fronting. Like, they was like, why you got a beeper, bro? Like, no, why you got a phone? Because I had beeper. People had beepers.
Oh, yeah.
Remember
so
beepers?
need a phone
Yeah, beepers. So like, why you got a phone? Like, it was a cell phone. And it had Snake, the Nokia.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The Snake game. Yeah.
Playing that all day. All right. So next up, we have Gen Z, which is actually, I only have the years that they were born because they're younger than us. But no, it looks like it'll be 13 to 28.
Okay.
And so those are basically Wi-Fi natives. So they only know Wi-Fi. So those are the first people who only know.
That's what they come out and ask for.
Yeah.
Now what your bathroom is, you got Wi-Fi?
Yeah, first thing. So they're Wi-Fi natives, and they're the first to have iPads in school.
Oh, wow.
And like know about education with tablets and iPads. And then next is Gen Alpha, which, what did I say? So what's that? 12 to 1.
Yeah.
Because
beta just started.
So 12 all the way down to 1. And those are the ones who were born with AI and automation. Okay. So they are just in a very evolved tech space. So with all of that, I do believe each generation will have its own area of tech trauma.
Yeah.
Do we want to start top down and see kind of how we end out?
Yeah.
All right. So what kind of trauma do we think these boomers have?
I feel like boomers, leading back to our other episodes, don't leverage or use technology like we do, like other generations, right? Mm-hmm. So I feel like they lose out on opportunities, or they don't know the lay of the land, right? Yeah. I saw a post the other day about a woman who got laid off from her job. She's like 55, 60, and she didn't know how to apply for jobs on LinkedIn or Indeed.
Oh, Glassdoor.
She had a paper resume. It wasn't online. It wasn't in a
didn't even
computer.
have a digital.
Didn't have a digital resume. So she was like, I don't even know how I'm gonna get a job now because the only way to apply is through LinkedIn or through Indeed or through some other website. Yeah. And they were like, she was like, I'm not used to that.
I think, again, it's a lot of things, so many things people take for granted. But
the paper, they used to just getting rid of paper to go digital business cards.
Right.
Like somebody hands me a business card, like you don't have it on your phone, you just can't digitize it to me and I can have it right here and all your contact information.
I'm losing it.
Yeah.
It's gonna get lost or thrown away purposefully. Or not, but that's what I'm saying. Eventually, because it's like, at some point, it's something. Well, as a woman, it's like it's something else in my purse, and then eventually it kind of goes away. But it's interesting because to me, I feel like their tech trauma is going to be scams.
That's what I was going to say.
Every generation has something where at some point it was like, oh, don't answer the phone. Yep. And now it's like, well, you have scams where you can call your kids, get their voice if your kid happens to fall for a scam. And then I'm sure at some point it'll be someone's calling you. It sounds just like your kid.
Yeah, right.
You know, it was at some point the scam of like, hey, I'm calling because your daughter is or your son is in jail or whatever. And they were scamming people out of bail money. But now it could be something completely different.
I think the phone scamming is going to happen to every generation. That's going to be trauma. That's going to be trauma for everyone.
So it'll be phone calls for like the boomers and Gen X, and then it'll be text messaging for us and the lower generation.
I mean, or Gen X, I would almost say. And for us, I actually think it would be AI because I've already had people send me videos that are my age, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" Where they're like, "This is so funny! I can't believe they got like the grandma." I don't know if y'all seen the grandma one, but somebody was like, "I can't believe they got them so unfiltered," and I'm like, "This is clearly AI."
Oh, when they just kind of talk like real raunchy.
Yeah.
Yes, I've seen that.
And somebody was like, "Oh my God, this is so crazy. I hope I'm this type when I'm old." And I'm like, you do realize these are not real people. And so I do think there will be some form of evolution.
I agree with you on that. Deep fakes, right?
Yeah.
We'll fall for a deep fake because it can be a CEO or C-suite exec, something your boss. It could be your boss at your job that team called you on Teams because a hacker got into your network, got on Teams and got a deep fake, and it's their whole face and voice. It's face and voice. Yeah. So yeah, I would probably easily fall for it, but no, I wouldn't. I'm a cybersecurity expert. I would never fall for a deep fake.
Don't get fired.
Others will definitely fall for that. Like I've seen, there's numerous stories about people falling for deep fakes. So I think that's part of our generation more so than others.
For sure, for sure. But back to boomers real quick. Anything else that we feel like, I mean...
Nah, I think
the scamming.
Yeah.
That's a big one. And the job loss.
Job
loss and applying to do jobs.
Email scamming.
Yeah.
Phone scamming.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and I wonder if because of the evolution of AI, if they'll have a lot of job loss, to your point, because it could be some of the most outdated, not to discredit anybody, because I also know a lot of people who are boomers that are extremely intelligent and still able to fully work. But it is one of those, okay, once you lose a job now, I think it's a little different, even being something like a personal assistant, where it's like, okay, well, now I can just get somebody, I need somebody younger, because you can't actually even use the platforms that I need at the job.
I mean, you think about a lot of those old processes back in the day, going back to manufacturing plants, right? When technology came in, and all those plants are machines now. So all those workers, even if it was union workers, that they're out of there now. It's cheaper just to have a machine in there, and they can't fight that. There's nobody picketing. The machines are inside working while y'all outside walking around the front.
So I think that's impacting all generations, right? That's going to impact every generation, but more specifically like the older generations.
For sure. And with the stat that we have of 20% of boomers use AI tools weekly, which is actually a little higher than I thought it was going to be, but it still gives how much of a gap there is in like just 80% are just, I'm out. Yeah. It's okay. I've tapped out.
That was the lowest though, right? Among those age groups?
Amongst all age groups is 20%. Wild. But that, which is also interesting. 20% is the lowest. So 60 and above. Yeah. Super interesting. Gen X, which I always feel like people move from boomers to millennials. They just don't even support Gen X.
I thought it was
They just
because you're technically Gen Y, but nobody calls us.
Because we're the first in the new millennium. But for them, I'm curious how it'll impact their, which I know we'll see deeper effects of as millennials, but I'm wondering how that is affecting their kind of like years towards retirement, because we're talking about people who are 45 to 60. So even for people who are like, these could be some of their most like profitable or biggest earning years. Like they're supposed to be like, hey, this is where you hit it big. And I'm curious. I mean, I guess it could be twofold, because it also can be a lot of people who actually now have the funds and knowledge to invest though in other areas where it's a little less skills focused but
where I think they may lack the benefits of technology, they probably won't leverage AI or some other tools that can give them information, like really good information very quickly. Like there's a whole, within ChatGPT, there are GPTs. And so you can make a GPT for budget, for marketing, right? For a specific purpose. There's some for investing, right? Some of them probably would never go in there and use that for invest, because they have their financial advisor they've been using for 35 years and trust that human person, not some AI bot.
They can analyze large companies in 2 seconds.
Exactly. So I think there's that mistrust piece, right? They don't trust the technology because they want that human interaction. They want to see the person they're talking to. They don't want to talk to a bot. They don't want to talk to, you don't even want to talk to a representative on the phone. They're like, that could be a bot, or that could be somebody in another country.
I'm still like that.
Yeah.
I hit zero representative.
And it's probably still a bot you end up talking to. Unless you ask them about their kids, how do you know it's not a bot?
Right. So what about us?
You don't.
Millennials.
I mean, I think we might actually have it the worst.
Really?
Yeah. I think that there is more of an apprehension to use. How can I say this? I fear that we may over-index.
Okay, I can see that.
And meaning I'm not sure. I hope that people are using it in a way that can enrich them, help them as we get towards these latter years that could be our strongest earning years. But I'm afraid that also because we are going to be the most affected by layoffs, because we are still in this like middle of our career where, some of us are in the rarefied air of executive or getting to a place, but that's pretty rare pre 40, you know what I mean? And so my fear is that with us being laid off, it's going to impact, because we don't necessarily have a lot of things to enrich us because there's still social media. There's still all the things that are negatively pushed to us in the media.
Yeah.
That I fear that we'll be the generation that gets stuck, that doesn't end up saying, hey, I lost this, but let me actually figure out a way to get a job. And instead we're going to be caught in the things ain't like they used to be. You know, people are setting us up for failure. You know, the other generations didn't look out for us, that I already see. And we feel it in some non-tech things like home buying is virtually impossible for our generation nowadays, which is super interesting. Yeah. But I mean, with just the economy, how everything's gone. And so I don't know. That's kind of my thought is I'm a little fearful for us.
Yeah, I do agree with you in a sense. I feel like our generation, the trauma is we've have an increased bit of laziness a little bit though, because we got the internet, we saw what it was without it, but we know what it is with it. You know, we knew what dial-up versus Wi-Fi was. We see the differences. We know where, you know, communities and education can take you. So I think we do have the capacity to say we have to keep learning. We're not where we need to be yet. And we know what's coming too. So I think we can see around the corner, over the hill, however you want to put it. But we have to keep learning. The day we stop learning is the day we say that we know everything we need to know. And I think this is where we have to go back and start learning more. And it's literally every company is transforming now. And we're at the beginning of the end. And I that's my opinion, where we are transforming our companies. We're cutting. I saw a report when a major company is expected to cut 20% of their workforce. 20% is a lot to say, oh, this AI that we've created for our companies and Google and Gemini and LLMs can just do this work for us. It's like, we have to continue to learn. Again, we have to master those tools that they are creating. There are so many platforms. There are so many investment tools around these AI chips. We have even NVIDIA, AMD, Taiwan Semiconductors, which is TSM on the stock market. Those companies are in the very beginning of their boom. They're going to grow so much bigger.
Yeah.
So, you know, again, I'm not telling you to go do it. I am, but I'm not a financial advisor by any means, so don't come after me. But those are companies that I look at.
So, do you think that I'm gonna skip to the next generation? Well, actually, I'm gonna get
Gen
to next.
Z?
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go to Alpha next because I think we beat that topic down. So do you think that Gen Alpha and Beta will ever not use AI for something?
No.
I feel at some point there might be a regression.
I feel the same way too. I feel like my kids, whenever I decide to have some kids, or my kids are going to reject technology because it's to a certain extent. They're going to need it for their everyday life. But I don't know, I have this picture in my head that they're going to be like, I hate technology. I hate how much access it has. I hate that I don't have no privacy. I hate that
that's
I can't
not
go
where
without
I'm going.
it.
Where I'm going is I think it's going to be like smoking cigs. I think it's going to be like some of the other things where when you first see it and no one's really getting the long-term effects, you don't see it, so you don't know it's bad. So I think beta, probably a little more than alpha,
For sure.
will eventually see, yo, this really like ruined the generation before us. Or like I feel like it'll be something where it's like, it might not be that they just don't have technology, but I do feel like there's a way. I mean, the fact is, if we keep this up, there is going to be a very real like, hey, do we keep going and it's us against the bots? You know what I mean?
So we're going to get to that point. But let me ask though. So now you're talking about generation.
Actually, I think it might be alpha.
Alpha, beta. Yeah. So they're coming up now, but they're watching Gen X and Gen Z. No, I'm sorry. Hold on.
They Gen Z millennials. So yeah,
Gen Z. Yeah. Well, no, it's really Gen Z.
And Y is us.
No, someone Z. Z's the ones after us, right?
Yeah.
And then Generation A and Beta. So like they're all watching each other. Again, like you say, hunched over, evolving to be hunchbacks in Notre Dame. And then it's like, so what point do they stop? So they're still gonna be hunched over, but it's like, can they even look up to see what's ahead?
That's true.
So I just think it's gonna be a rolling ball. So it's really up to us to kind of change that now.
So that's my next question. So how do we prepare Black Gen Alpha, Gen Beta kids to not just consume tech? Like how do they how to control it?
But you know what's interesting is I wonder if there will be some sort of like backwards benefit to the lack of access to a lot of Black people in tech. in the long run.
I think so.
You know what I
There's
mean?
gonna be like a
there's lot of
supreme AI that
things.
you got to be rich or like to get access to. Like that's what you
No. I'm saying more of like, because we've talked in prior episodes about the disparity in access, about how the expense comes. I'm curious if actually over time people in a lower demo or place of no access, they'll have longer time without tech. Now, of course, it has other default issues, but we've overcome a lot as I think just in our DNA, it's a lot of like survivor in us. And I'm a little curious how that might end up benefiting at some point in time. I mean, you never know, but
definitely a movie.
Huh?
It's definitely a movie script.
Yeah. I think we've seen this movie a lot of times with AI. We see how it ends. Yeah.
I know.
And I don't want to be here for that.
I know.
So,
but I think it gets back to, and who knows, maybe this is a great pod topic for us in the future, but it does kind of get a bit more into the parenting, a bit more into the how do you show up as even like uncles, aunts, parents of the kids that are coming over to your house. Like I know I have some pretty strict restrictions that thankfully I have a very wonderful child who is very obedient, which is kudos to her because I was not that. But I know, but it's like she knows like, no, my mom doesn't let me do this, or at this point it stops. Like my parents don't allow this. And I do think it comes to also me sharing with other parents like, hey, I don't want her engaging in this, and actually honoring that. Or even when kids are at my house, it's like, no, this is my house, my rules, and I understand that your parents allow you to do X, Y, Z. We don't do this here. So I do think it's about us as a community really making sure we lean in.
So it starts at home. Right?
Yeah.
Like I said on the last episode, right, where Bill Gates and Tim Cook or whatever, they don't let their kids use their own devices that their companies build, or, so.
And putting it on us as parents to not be lazy.
Yeah.
Because actually that's where a lot of that comes, and where a lot of things end up being, just sit on your iPad is like.
Go outside, go to the gym, go to practice. It's tiring, but it's necessary.
It's very necessary.
Especially for our survival.
So I feel like there's a lot we can talk about with AI.
For sure. Let's get going.
And so more to come, right? More to come. We'll be having a lot more deep dives on different AI tools, how AI is impacting the Black community, how technology is impacting our communities, how we can leverage it more.
Also, how to use it.
And how to use it. The demos. Yeah. So more to come. We'll be back next week. Check us out.
Yes.
Like, share, subscribe.
Love y'all.